And we are live with another Wookie Whispers episode. I'm your host, Gianni V, and today we have none other than the Scevoli Tano show to
Yeah,
Wookie Whispers. Welcome, my man. How are you today?
I'm alive. Unfortunately, I'm still kicking.
You're still
As you can tell,
kicking.
I'm still kicking. I'm dying slowly, but I'm still kicking. So that's
Are
good.
your are your fans, rioting in the streets?
I would riot in the streets if I was me. If I had my life as a Star Wars fan, I would riot in the streets. So yeah, I would.
Absolutely, man. So thank you for coming on.
No,
I
thank you
know
for having me. I'm so excited. I don't know if I should whisper on this show because it's called Wookie Whispers. So I don't
Wookie
know if I have
Whispers,
to
right?
whisper, and the Wookiees watching me. So I don't really know.
No, you don't have to whisper. At least, I mean, maybe we should start whispering. Maybe that's the new thing now.
I think we
Maybe
should.
we should start we should start whispering.
You're welcome on that. You can give me that. You can give me that.
Absolutely, absolutely. So, thanks for coming on again. So, for those who don't know you, tell them kind of where they can find you and all the things you're going on because you've got the podcast,
I
you
do.
do the reviews, you've got your merch store. I mean, just
All
kind
right.
of break it all down for us.
So you can find me on all social media platforms, Instagram, Chris Scevoli _ Tano. I'm verified, because I'm legit. I'm like Beyonce.
Oh,
Um,
snap.
yeah, I had to do that, so no other fake Scevoli Tano people can fake me, You don't know. But yeah, you can follow me on Instagram. I use that a lot. X or Twitter. I don't know how we're going by that, but you can X me, at Scevoli Tano. And then the YouTube channel is the Scevoli Tano Show, where I do like breakdowns, reactions, the reviews. I don't go toy hunting because I'm not a big toy collector, but I do collect like the bust, like the Gentle Giant bust that I love so
Yeah,
much. As you can tell on my page if you go there.
for
But yeah,
sure.
that's it. And then TikTok, probably, I think it's Chris _ Scevoli Tano, I think. I'm not too sure. I just use TikTok, like copy and paste it and stuff like that. That's what I do. Like, I don't really go on it. And then my store page, of course, where I do
Yeah.
Star Wars pins. I sell these T-shirts. These are custom made. I have the Simpsons out, Ahsoka Simpson, Thrawn Simpson, Maul Simpson, and then I have other shirts that I collab with. I'm gonna get this wrong, but Rebel _ Scum. I don't know apparel. What you do with the guy you
Yeah,
have collabing.
absolutely.
He does amazing work. So shout out to him if he's watching. I think his name. I forget his name. I'm so bad with names. Matt. Is it Matt?
Yeah, so Rebel Scum's amazing. They send me shirts all the time because of the subscription service that I have with them guys.
Oh, okay.
So if you guys are looking for amazing Star Wars graphic shirts, and they do all kinds of stuff too, like tapestries and all other things, you guys can use the code Gianni15, and that will actually give you 15% off of your purchase. So whatever it is that you're looking for, use the code Gianni15. You won't regret it. I've got a bunch of their shirts. You could check my Instagram page and all of that. I've got a few reels specifically on their shirts, and they're awesome. They've got a ton of designs.
They're awesome.
The graphics are very vibrant, and the actual like fit of the t-shirts are actually spot on. So not too big and boxy, a little bit more fitted, nice and like nice on the arm. So if you're into fashion and you're into clothes, Rebel Scum's clothes is legit. So check them out. Check them out.
Yeah, they are really good. He does phenomenal work. He helps me with my store too. So shout
Yeah,
out to him. He does amazing work. So the two shirts that I got, I think it's the Clone Wars one with Anakin and Ahsoka on my page, and then I think it's
nice.
Then You Will Die, like half the Rebels one,
Hmm.
with Vader and / Anakin. So I love that one.
Oh,
So.
yeah, that's dope. That's dope. I want to get his Phantom Menace shirt. So when May 4th hits and I go watch it in theaters, I'm ready
You
to
can
rock
watch
and
it,
roll. Yeah.
or you can have a Maul Simpson. You never know. Can have a Maul Simpson on
Yo, for sure, for sure.
you.
So before we jump into the questions here for you, let's check the chat. Looks like there you go. Rebel
There you
Scum is
go.
in the chat. Bam. Welcome to the chat, man. Thank you for coming and supporting. You're always amazing. So thank you.
He is.
We've got Chris the Nerd Dad.
Oh, the
Welcome,
nerd dad.
man.
I like the nerd dad. He's a dad and he's a nerd, so that you win both sections there.
Combo
Yes.
deal there.
Yeah.
So much love, brother. You were the man. Rebel Scum's got the whisper emoji, which we were talking about whispers. Chris says, "Oh wait, yo, parentheses whispers." We've got the crispy chicken. What's good,
Oh,
man?
that's good. That's
Yep.
great. I like that name.
So what's cool about that name is that his name is actually Chris, like
Yeah,
yours, and so it's the crispy chicken. That's
I could
dope.
go for a nice chicken sandwich. Thank you.
Oh, so do you? Okay, so let's switch gears really quick. Grilled or crispy?
Crispy.
Crispy for sure.
It's like
For
fried
sure.
chicken for me. Like fried chicken is
Yeah.
like yeah, that's really much it.
So if you're gonna pick a fast food restaurant,
Okay.
which fast food crispy chicken restaurant are you going to get your crispy chicken fix?
I don't know if you have it in Florida. Crown fried chicken, it's called.
No, we don't have that.
Yeah, no, Crown chicken is like it's really good. It's like I'm gonna say it wrong, but I think you know what I'm gonna say. Halalala, like it's like it's like a something like that. It's like a religion. I think it's like
Okay.
something with religion. That's how they make it. They make it with that kind of seasoning and spices. It's really not spicy at all. But it's really good. Like they're it's like so nice.
Interesting. All right. We
It
don't have
really
that in
is.
Florida. So if I'm
Yeah.
ever in New York, I'll have to go check that out.
Yes, you could definitely
Chat,
find one there.
for sure. Chat, let us know in the comments what's your favorite crispy chicken location when you need to get that craving taken care of. We got the Dad DeLorean. Welcome to the chat. That's my man. Appreciate you coming on. And Chris is saying the crispy chicken is saying Popeyes.
Oh, Popeyes. My friend likes Popeyes, but I'm not a big fan of Popeyes. I'm really
Not a fan of Popeyes.
Not a fan.
I can crush me some Popeyes. I can also crush me some KFC or some Church's chicken as well.
Church's chicken I never tried, but
No.
KFC I don't really like. I liked that as a kid, but then growing up, I was like, nah, that's not it.
That's not
That's not it
it.
for me. That's not it.
No worries. All right. So while we're probably gonna get some more crispy chicken comments coming in, let's jump into some of the questions here. So I've seen you've been killing it for a long time, via Instagram and YouTube and stuff. And so my question to you is how did this start for you? Were you, when did the Star Wars journey for you begin? Were you a child and then it kind of evolved? Were you a little bit older? Like, how did that happen for you?
I think like I knew the Clone Wars came out, and because that was on like Cartoon Network and everything. So,
Right.
but I was too. I feel like I'm 25, so I feel like in that time I was like 6, 7, 8. I can say.
Yep.
So it's actually started like I can't lie. It started with The Mandalorian. Actually, it started with Grogu when it came out. I think in 2017, 2018.
Yeah.
Where I fell in love with absolutely Grogu. Like everybody fell in love with him.
He's adorable.
And I knew of like Revenge of the Sith. I knew Anakin Skywalker. I knew Darth Vader. Like I knew all those characters, Yoda, Mace Windu. So I was familiar with everything. But jumping to The Mandalorian, that's the first show like I actually watched the live action show.
Yeah.
And then I was like, you know what? Let's start a YouTube channel of Star Wars because I watched Clone Wars and I fell in love with Ahsoka Tano. She is like my God, like she really is. I love her so much. I loved meeting Ashley. We talked about that on my show. Meeting Ashley Eckstein, who voices Ahsoka Tano.
Yeah, she's awesome.
She really is. And to watch her develop in everything, I was like, you know what? I think my name is unique enough. Like Scevoli, you can it's like ravioli. You can mix that name with almost everything. So
right.
I was like, you know what? Let's do the Scevoli Tano show. First was the Scevoli show. First it was just podcasting, and you wouldn't see me on camera. You would just hear my sexy voice. But now you see who I really am. All this. It's like Beyonce. I get it. It's like Beyonce. But
tell him.
That, yeah, I gotta tell him. I got single ladies, But that's how it started for me. Like it started from The Mandalorian. I think in 2018. But I was a fan of Star Wars, but I wasn't really into Star Wars like heavily. Like I can tell you a lot of things now, because I've read books, I've watched all the shows, I've caught up. I think it was like because my friend told me at the time to watch Marvel, all in order. So I did Marvel. And
Right.
then I was like, you know what? I'm going to watch Marvel just like Star Wars. Star Wars, I watched in chronological order. And when the Clone Wars hit, then I watched Revenge of the Sith again. You know, when Rebels came out, Rebels was out when maybe I was 17, I think. I catch Rebels, and now I can't stop watching Rebels. You know, like I said, I'm a big animation guy. So anything animation, I'm totally down for. But yeah, that's how it really started the journey. It didn't start like a lot of people back then. Like I had to grow into Star Wars because I thought Star Wars was not all that until like
Okay.
I watched everything, and I was like, you know what? It teaches you. Like Star Wars taught me a lot watching it.
There's a lesson in every single,
Yes.
episode or movie or whatever it is. There's always a lesson attached to it, and that's what's beautiful about Star Wars. Yeah, I mean,
Yes.
that's cool, man. Like a lot of people have been watching the show here. Most of the people in the chat, I don't see anybody that's not been a consistent listener. So thank you for showing up. But everybody knows, I've always been a Star Wars fan, didn't really become like super real. We talked about this on your podcast a couple weeks ago, but that dropped today. The Scevoli channel shows dropped today about an hour ago. So if, when you're done watching this, guys, go to his page and check that podcast out. That one is also very dope. So, but yeah, Star Wars became, I would say, like real right around like the 9th grade for me, when I was just like super sick and I was bootleg streaming it off of my Xbox. So that's
how it goes.
yeah, that's how it goes. So it was a short story, kind of in a nutshell. And then it kind of, obviously there's a gap because, not another Star Wars thing dropped until about 2015. And then, there was a lot of ups and downs. And then I would say around like 2019, I went to Galaxy's Edge, and then that was another spike, and it hasn't came down since then. So yeah. We got some more people in the chat. Thanks for coming on. Somebody's saying, oh, the Dad DeLorean says, Raising Cane's. I've never had Raising Cane's
Never had that
crispy
either.
chicken. So I don't know if they have that in Florida. I'll have to check it out.
I don't think they have that in Jersey. I don't think
no.
I've never heard of that.
The Dad DeLorean, where are you located that has Raising Cane's? And I'll just come and visit. Me and Chris will come and visit you.
We'll take a bus. We'll take an airplane if we need it.
That's it. Let's see here. Nerf Herder Custom says Cane's is legit. Okay. Mandalorian. As a dad, the Mandalorian hits hard. I'm barking up that journey in a couple months. So when I rewatch it, I'm sure it's gonna hit way different. So that's cool. Nerf Custom says, I was born into the Star Wars family. Proud of that. That is dope. A lot of people know, like, I grew up, Dad was, always had it on and stuff like that. And Star Wars was always kind of like, need to watch this because this is history. But it didn't become like real and like my own thing until about the 9th grade. So
yeah, I didn't have a Star Wars family. Everybody just, I think it was more of like a wrestling kind of family because everybody grew up with like, The Rock, Austin. So I was kind of like that round because my favorite wrestler is CM Punk. So when CM Punk left, I left. And now he's back. So now I'm back.
Alabama and Louisiana has Raising Cane's. Okay.
Oh,
I've never been to Alabama or Louisiana.
We take a trip, Gianni. Let's do it.
No. What's out there is that we can go check it out. I don't want to just make a trip for chicken. We got here, we don't have it up in the Panhandle, but they had it in Vegas. Oh, okay.
Right, Vegas.
So Kristen Nerd Dad knows about Raising Cane's then, huh? Cool. All right. So I'm sure we're going to get more chicken comments, but this is a Star Wars podcast, so we will be going back and forth. I'm going to hit you with a deep one.
Oh.
All right. In your experience, what's the most common misconception people have about Star Wars?
A misconception. I think the most misconception about Star Wars is it for kids?
That's good.
I feel like that's a big one. I feel like that's the only one I can really think of because is it, like we talked about it on my show, is it really for kids? Is it,
right?
Will our children, when we have them at 7 years old, watch Star Wars,
right.
Or we will wait till like 10, 11, 12 so they can understand it. I think watching all these Star Wars shows, Bad Batch now, the Acolyte that's going to come out, and other series like with Vader and Obi-Wan, and I really don't think it is for children.
Right.
I really don't think it's for like a 6-year-old, a 7-year-old to watch. Your kid can watch it maybe at 12 because then they can understand it. Okay, why is Darth Vader? Why is Maul coming down the hallway and chopping clone troopers? Or when Vader goes down the scene in Rogue One, like why is this guy so vile, so
Right.
evil? And no kid can be scared of that. Like but kids think it's cool. Like I see a lot of videos of them going up to Darth Vader or something like that, and Kylo Ren like standing tall and stuff like that. Like that's all cute and all, but I don't know if they would be able to watch Star Wars because it's one thing to go up to cosplayers. Of course, you can go up to them; they're not going to hurt you. But the second thing is to watch it. I think that's the biggest misconception. Is it for kids? Like, is Star Wars for your kid? Can you sit down with your kid, watch Star Wars, and like I want my kid when I have them to pay attention. To pay attention to the story. I don't want them sitting there playing with their bottle or like doing nothing or just running around. I need them to pay attention because as long as you pay attention, you get to know Star Wars. And
Right.
I carry Star Wars with my whole life now.
Wow.
Like
Yeah.
it's sad to say, like it's like I move like a Tano. Yeah, I might not have the lightsabers. I might not have the Force. I might not have all that. But I have her wisdom with me. What would Ahsoka do in this time? What would Anakin do in that time? Like I carry my
Right.
favorite characters' traits very, very dearly to my heart. Like Star Wars, like the misconception is the kids, but Star Wars to me is much bigger than just a galaxy far, far away, if that makes sense.
I agree. Yeah, I mean, Lucas has always said that Star Wars is like for kids, and I don't know if I completely agree with that.
Yeah,
I
I
mean,
don't. I
it's
don't think I can fully be on board with Star Wars. I know you don't say blood. I think the first time we saw blood was in Bad Batch. I think that
yeah,
was the first really much time we saw blood on TV, but from Star Wars. But other than that, like people fighting with lightsabers and then dying or getting their heads chopped off, like that's not really for kids. I know you're not using blood or anything like that, but I really don't think like Star Wars is for kids. Like it can be for grown preteens, yeah. But I don't think if we're talking kids, then no. I don't
yeah.
think.
I guess it just depends on what his definition of kids was.
Yeah.
So we don't know unless he said
I
it
guess we'll
somewhere. I
never
just
know,
haven't seen it. I guess we'll never know.
I guess
So
we'll never
yeah,
know.
yeah. I would say for me, the biggest misconception Star Wars is that it's like super nerdy. I don't know. I don't find myself super nerdy, but I am passionately in love with Star Wars. You know what I'm saying? I mean, granted, like I've always been into like what people consider nerdy things, right? Like growing up, I was super into like anime and Dragon Ball Z
Yeah.
and Marvel and the comics and the figures and all that stuff growing up until that morphed into Star Wars and stuff like that. So I've always been like into the things, but like at the same time, I never like considered myself like nerdy, you know? So, I would say that when people are like, oh, isn't that some like nerd stuff? I'm like, what about me looks nerdy? You know what I mean? Like, do you consider me a nerd? And most of the time they're like, no, not really. That's why we're kind of, we're a little perplexed. And I'm like, well, maybe you
Yeah,
should check yourself and check it out.
I get that too. Like, is it like Chris, you're a nerd, and I have no problem with that. I think when you grow up and you go to high school, you go to middle school, you see the nerds, like, and then like, not no offense, but you used to make fun of them. Like, you used to be like, oh, they're the smart kids in the class. Why do they look like that? They're the teacher's pet, and then you realize, like, I realized going through high school, it was like, oh, so that's what it feels like. That's
Yeah.
what it feels like. And then bringing Star Wars to the platform is like, okay, all right, I am a nerd. And people call me a nerd, and I just giggle. I go, thank you. Like, I
Yeah.
just like, that's part of me. That Star Wars will always be part of me. So I can't really take that away. Like, I can't take the nerdiness away because it just comes out.
Yeah.
Like, when someone asks me a question, like, I'll know it, I might not know everything in Star Wars, don't get me wrong, because those names,
Right.
how they come up with these names in Star Wars and these planets, I think they just like combine words together, and that is it. Don't ask me how to say a lot of names because I can't. but I'll know the knowledge of it, you know, like something like that. But I'm glad I'm a nerd. We're nerds, Gianni. We got to be proud
I'm for it. I'm for
of
it.
it.
The Dead DeLorean actually chimed in. He said, kids is deaf, a bit of a subjective term. Could mean anywhere from 5 to 15, honestly. Yeah,
Yeah.
100%. Yeah, because I
Yes.
mean, a 15-year-old, even a 16, I mean, at my age now, which I'm not old, guys, I'm only 32. But at 32, like, 18-year-olds, 19-year-olds feel like kids to me. I'm like, yeah, there's just a bunch of kids.
Yeah.
So just because of like behavior and like the way they carry themselves, like, I'm in a place where they just seem like kids to me. So, yeah, yeah. Once you hit like 20 and you just start carrying yourself a little bit differently, you've got some real responsibility, some things that really, kind of happen to you. Real life
Yeah.
roughed
Like,
you up a little bit,
yeah, like
then
I
you're
feel
not.
like this generation coming out with kids, it's like they think it's fun and games. You know, I thought it was fun and games too. Like, oh, I'm 18, I'm gonna be in school forever. And when you hit 18 and you hit senior year, it's like, oh, I actually have to move on. Like, and
Yeah,
you're not prepared for that. You're not prepared
right.
to move on. I think that's the misconception of kids now. Like they think
Yeah,
it's fun and games. They're safe now. They have a safe haven in high school. But once they get out, they're gonna hit you with the real world. Like all your girlfriends and boyfriends, or your friends, they just sorry to say it, they just leave you. Really,
yeah,
because you go all your separate ways and you mature into a person that you don't really know that. I had to
right.
mature into a person that I thought I knew, and then I never knew that person ever again after a while. And I'm still
It's,
finding myself out at 25.
dude, you'll always be ever evolving. Um,
Yeah.
so don't put any like stock into it. You are going to continue to change as you age, as you experience life.
Yeah.
You're just going to be ever evolving, and as long as you're evolving into a person that you are loving more and more and more as time goes on, that's all that matters.
It
So,
is.
all right, next question. This one's a good one, and it's actually something that I have been chit-chatting with back and forth with Nilda. I don't know if you know Nilda. Nilda
I
listens.
love Nilda. I love Nilda.
She's awesome.
She's awesome.
It's something that we've been kind of talking offline about for I don't know, the past few weeks now, is all the hate that
Mhm.
Star Wars has been getting. Like, what is your position on all the Star Wars? Like that, and it's like it's not even just like the outsiders, because like at the end of the day, screw those people. But the
Yeah.
fans, like the Star Wars fans themselves, actually like hating on the things that are coming out, right? Like, so I'll preface by saying, okay, I wasn't the huge, how do I say this? I wasn't the biggest sequels fan. There was parts of the sequels that I really loved, and there was parts of the sequels I was like, wow, this sucks. You know what I mean? But I don't hate them. Like I would still watch them, right? And then you have things like, let's fast forward a little bit. You've got Mandalorian season 3. Okay, mixed bag. I agree. But just because there was a few episodes in there that were like, doesn't mean the whole season is
Was a
trash.
flop. Yes,
You know what I
correct.
mean? Then fast forward a little bit more, we've got Ahsoka. Okay. There was a lot of hate for Ahsoka. And I understand if maybe you didn't watch Rebels, but
Mhm.
Ahsoka was literally the following season of Rebels,
Yes.
right? And so people just automatically want to start hating it, and it is so toxic, right? So now let's fast forward to present time.
Okay.
We've got the Acolyte. Did you see,
I did.
well, the comment, not the comments, but the like to dislike ratio?
I did. I did not. I think
You didn't see
but
that? Dude,
no.
it was something insane. Like 100 something thousand people liked it, and like 400,000 or 500,000 people disliked it.
Wow.
That is crazy.
Crazy.
And honestly, like, okay, maybe the trailer wasn't like the most like mind-blowing trailer, but there's nothing in the trailer to be like dislike.
Yeah. Like I don't even like it. I just watch it. Like I don't even press the like button because I'm like,
Yeah.
it does Star Wars is getting paid anyway. Why do I have to like their stuff? So I'm just watching it. So I don't really like, but I didn't see that. I saw all like
Yeah.
the comments and
You
under,
know,
and that's why I like Nilda made a post about it, and I didn't get it. I was like, what is she talking about? So I went into my research and I saw everything, and I was like, except for the dislike and likes. But I was like, wow, that's insane.
yeah, it's so crazy. And I'm almost on this thing where I'm like, I want to start a like positivity for Star Wars movement because it's something that me and Nilda have been talking about offline is positivity for Star Wars because it is so toxic. Like, why can't we just love it? And like, okay, let's say you watch it and you don't like it. That's fine, right? Like that's going to happen. But it hasn't even come out yet and people are already bashing it.
Yeah.
That blows my mind because I bet you half of those people or more are going to actually watch it and probably going to like it. And now they got to, they got to eat crow. That's crazy to me. That's crazy, right? Like give it a chance. It was a freaking trailer and they're just
Just hate.
automatically, the internet is crumbling because these people want to just automatically put hate towards it, and I'm sick of it. I'm
Yeah.
absolutely sick of it.
But what I say to that is like, thank you for making it the most watched Star Wars trailer in history. I shout that out. You
That's a
know,
good point. Yeah.
thank you for that. All the dislikes they got on it.
Yeah.
Um, I I really don't pay attention to anything really like that.
Yeah.
It does bother me like when some people say they don't like something, but watch it first and give it a try. Like I'm not gonna sit here and say like I'm the ultimate live action fan. You know,
Right.
I'm not a big live action person, but I'm not gonna go online and bash live action. No, I'm gonna say, well, this can be different. I really didn't like Thrawn in it. Thrawn wasn't the one he was in Rebels. But I'm not gonna go to Lars's house, write him a death note, and
Right.
like chop block his family. Like no, and some people have done that. Some people like just with Riva, a perfect example, the third sister, Moses Ingram. She got
Right.
all hate,
Right.
and she got all hate for her character, and it wasn't
Right.
even her fault. She's just playing the character, and I think that people get like hurt by how the character is played, but it's not her fault. She's the actress.
I agree.
She's not writing her script. She's not telling, oh, I'm going to say this. Oh, I knew Obi-Wan. I knew Anakin was alive all these days. Yes. Did we not like that? Absolutely. Because it retcons the comic. Of
Right.
course. Or something else, Of course. We're not going to like that. But I'm not going to sit in my DMs all day and trying to get her attention, say, you should die, jump off a bridge, I'm not going to do that because why?
Right.
Because I'm not a big fan of Riva. You're not going to see any Riva stuff in my Star Wars room that I have right here. But I'm
Right.
going to support the character. I'm going to go like,
100.
good for you, girl. You did your part. If you're coming back, because I guarantee you she's going to come back in the future. She's still alive. But I
Right.
think that like the toxicness is no one ever in Star Wars is ever going to be happy about anything.
No.
We as fans, like me and we're not going to be happy with everything that comes out of Star Wars. And I'm not going to sit here and lie. There's no reason to lie. I'm not going to like the Ahsoka series.
Absolutely not.
I wish it was animation. That's my opinion.
We talked about that. Yeah.
Yeah. Like that's my opinion. I think it would have been badass in animation, but
Yeah.
that's just me. But
Right.
I'm not going to go to a con and see Ezra and go, you're not my Ezra. I can't stand you. I'm not going to go up to Eamon and say that, or Natasha,
Right.
or Rosario, or Hayden. I'm not going to do that.
Yeah.
And I think that's what people are praising Hayden Christensen now. But where was that praise years ago? Oh, because he came back. That's why I say, like, people are bandwagoning it too. Like, it's a bandwag service. Like, because I know a lot of people that didn't like Hayden
Oh,
when
for
it came
sure.
out. And I wasn't
For
a big
sure.
Hayden fan. Just like I'm not a big Hayden fan. I'm not. I'm a big Matt Lancer fan who played Anakin in the Clone Wars. Absolutely, that's my
You
Anakin.
would be. You would
Yeah,
be.
I would be. But there's no hate to Hayden. Like I wouldn't pay $300 to $250 to meet him. Or get an autograph because
Right.
he doesn't mean anything to me. Like not like
Right.
that, but he doesn't mean he's not my Anakin. Matt Lancer, I would pay that much if he was that much, but he's not. But yeah, I think people loving Hayden now, posting Hayden, all smiles, cuteness. where was all that years ago? You know, where was
Hmm.
that before Obi-Wan? Where was that
I
in Revenge of the Sith and Attack of the Clones?
I think I can
And
answer that.
you know, like
Yeah.
where was all that love? Like I liked him. Like he was a good Anakin. He was a mysterious character. You know, watching it for the first time, it's like, oh, but like still to this day, I still don't get the fall to Vader. You know, by manipulation and betrayal, of course. But I think the toxicness, it doesn't make sense to me because you're gonna watch it, I'm gonna watch it. Everybody's gonna dislike it, and everybody's gonna watch it. You
Right.
know, like you're gonna watch it regardless of how it goes. You know, I'm not the honest big High Republic fan because I read some books, I've read some comics, but I'm going in
Yeah.
blind. You know, the only
Right.
I'm going right in blind, and I'm excited to go in blind because I know nothing that's gonna happen. Like it's not based on a book, it's not based on a comic, it's just straight through.
Right.
But I don't know. I don't get the hate. Like I don't. I really don't pay attention to it. Like I read it. I'll read it, but I won't be like, why are you even typing that? Like
Yeah.
you're giving the effort, and the comments keep going after that. Like a hateful comment, and then underneath is hateful comments to replying to the hateful comments. Like to me, Star Wars fans will never be happy with what they get. You
It's true.
know, you can have Luke. You can have a Heir to the Empire movie, live action movie, Dave Filoni's movie, if that is the movie, and people will
Right.
still bash it for being bad, and
100%.
rightfully so. You know, everything is not perfect in Star Wars, just like you said, the sequels. I'm not a
Right.
big fan of the sequels. I don't like the sequels, but am I not? Am I going to watch Daisy Ridler's movie when it comes out? Absolutely, because I want to see. Is it to me 25 years in after the Rise of Skywalker is ridiculous, is totally ridiculous because what happens in the first 5 years, whatever happens. But
Right.
like, so what happens then? But you're showing me 25 years. I'm not going to like that, but I'm going to sit there, pay $12 to AMC and watch it, and then I'll give my opinions about it. And I'm not going to
Right.
bash Ridley, Daisy. I'm not going to bash whoever's in the movie and stuff like that. Like I met Obi-Wan Luke Grant in
Hmm.
Rhode Island. He played little Luke. And I told the mom, I said, be very careful. I said, be warned. You
Yeah.
know, you're coming into this and your kid is only, I forgot how old he was. He's the sweetest child ever. He had a time of his life there. But like meeting him and talking to his mom and everything. And I just warned, like she already knew that without going in. She knew it. She was like, well, she's already getting some of it. You know, this was
Right.
2 years ago. Of course, this is when Obi-Wan was just freshly out. Like 2 years ago, I met him. And she was telling me, and I was telling her, I was like, be very careful for Grant. You know, because it's even he was in the new Freddy's movie. You know, he was
Yep.
Freddy. You
Yep.
know, and look at him blowing up now. He's in the Friday Nights at Freddy's movie. You know, look at that. You know, but
Yeah.
I don't. Back to the question, I really don't get the hate.
Yeah. I think you mentioned something about a little bit earlier about, where was the love that Hayden gets today back then? Well, I feel like I can answer that. So the adults then are a lot older now, and majority of them are probably not in Star Wars, right? The
Mm.
people who are giving him all the praise is us prequel kids that we were young and we
Yeah.
fell in love with Star Wars at that time because that trilogy was our Star Wars, and now we are older and we have a voice, right?
Yeah, it
And
is.
so I think that has something really big to play in it because you start seeing a lot of the people that are taking the photos and doing the posts and stuff like that. It's our age group.
Yeah.
And so it's not like our parents. Our parents don't give two craps. And then they saw those Star Wars and they were like, oh, like it was all right. And so it's all of us that grew up with the prequels now are showing them the love because we are the voice now. So
You're the
it's
voice
cool.
of reason, Gianni. The voice.
Yep. Let's see here. Let's check out the comments really quick. The Data Lauren says the toxicity is ridiculous, man. I just want to enjoy this franchise we love. You cannot like a movie or franchise, but respect the people who do enjoy it. My point exactly.
Yeah,
Yep,
I agree.
exactly. Blue Mambo, welcome to the
Oh, Blue
chat.
Mamba. That's not Kobe Bryant, people. He's blue.
It's
I had him
different.
on my show. It's not a big fuss. I'm sorry.
Pop the bounty
Ah,
collector.
Ricky.
Ricky, what's up, my man? We've got Chris is back. You're Chris the Nerd Dad. Pop is saying, Ricky's saying, we got a voice and we got adult money too. Yes.
Yes.
Yes. It's exactly it. That's exactly it. So, we are the change. We are the things that are making the world move now. You know what I mean? As that generation at that time where he was getting so much hate, they are moving out,
Yeah.
and it's up to us to kind of continue the positivity and to love Star Wars wholeheartedly, and hopefully like that infects the people around us, and hopefully the hate dies down. You know what I mean? Like, we get to be the light, Chris. We can be the light.
We can change the world.
We can change the world. Yeah. But it starts like right now, right? That positivity starts right now, like on this podcast. It starts with the DMs, back and forth. It starts with you, whether you're at work or whatever, you're just spreading the light of Star Wars. Like, that starts right now, and hopefully, the light will overtake the darkness. You know what I'm saying?
I think that's what Star Wars taught me too. It's like, you be kind to people. You don't really like. I can't stand mean people. Like, I don't get like attitudes.
Yeah.
Like, what's the attitude for? I only asked you a question. You know what I mean? Like,
Right.
everybody, I feel like these days has an attitude, and that's what I learned from Star Wars. Like, I learned from Ahsoka. Like, when you find people that need your help, you help them, no matter what.
Right.
And that, I always stuck with that. And I feel like if people know me and my friends and stuff like that around my town, they know I help. Like, I'm the sweetest person you'll ever meet in your life. Like, it really is. Like, I'm not just saying that because I'm me. I'm just like, that's a general statement. Like, I'm really the sweetest person. I'm so nice. I'm never gonna like be mean. Like, I have no mean ounce in my body to be mean. I kill them with kindness, Gianni. I kill them with kindness.
That's it, man. That's it. And it's going to take all of us.
Yeah.
Because as you saw, there's probably like 400,000 people disliking. So we
gotta have
them
on the show.
We got to have them on the show.
Each and every one of them.
All out battle, craziness. All right. So thanks for your input on that. That's huge. And I'm glad we're on the same page, because I don't know, man. It just sucks, you have something that you love so much and there's so many people just bashing it. You're like, dude, like, chill out. So
I think it's like in life too, like with relationships and stuff like that, it goes around, it goes around full circle. I don't think it's just with Star Wars or Marvel or stuff like that. I think it's just a general, I think people have to hate it to make them feel good about themselves, and that's just the way it goes. That's how the world, we can spread positivity, but there's always that 1 ounce of percent that's going to just be negative, and it's just going to be like that. And we have to sit here and take it with a grain of salt. We can't really fight it because that's their opinion. I learned a long time ago, you can't change anybody's opinion about you or about anything, because it just gets like overprotectiveness, attitude. Like, ain't nobody on top of that.
Right. Anyways, we could talk about that for hours. Hours. So what you're loving Star Wars, before you started creating, what was the moment you're like, you know what, like, I'm gonna flip the camera on?
I think it just was a light bulb in my head. That's like, I think that's the honest answer. Yeah. And I was never a camera person. Like, I never did any plays in high school. Everybody said, Chris, do the plays. I can never get on stage and act act. Can never do that. Right. But I can do it in front of everybody right now. Like, I can just put on a show, and do it. But yeah, I think just the light bulb, it just switched. And I was like, you know what? I think I would get more views. And YouTube is a big platform to have, and then social media at the time. Social media is just going up and up every week, every day of its life. So they're finding new ways to promote creators and stuff like that. So I'm on board with all of it. Do I have to learn a couple of things? Absolutely, of how to create more things. But as I'm doing okay as I am now, I think eventually I'll upgrade. Eventually everybody upgrades. But for now, I think I'm very calm, cool, collective. Just doing my thing, and that's all I can say.
What does upgrade look for you? What do you mean by that?
Like, maybe like a setup, like what you have. Like, like get out of this space. You know, I only have a room,
Yep.
and I try to fit all my Star Wars stuff in it, and it's crazy. Um, but I think the upgrade is that, like a bigger, not a bigger room, but things I can have signs in my name on my walls. Like I mean, probably a house. I think that would be the upgrade. But an upgrade would be like a setup, probably like a
Yeah.
setup like you have more tech involvement. Because I'm techie, but not that techie. Like you got like you and some other people watching are, because they have some awesome setups, and I'm like just sitting here on my phone in my room with a closet. And it's like everybody's like looking at that closet and be like, "What's in that closet, Chris?" Like, pull it out, you know?
Yeah. Yeah.
It's my
Peek
clothes,
through.
but
You know.
you just peek through it. You'll find nubs in there or something, Omega. And Ahsoka's watching you guys, so she's on my side. She's on this side.
Just on that
Yeah.
side, yeah. You don't need much though, dude. Like, dude, I'm in the corner of a bedroom that I share with my wife.
Oh, really?
Oh yeah, yeah, dude. I'm like, I don't know. I
Cramped.
can almost touch this wall, and then like this other wall is a little bit further out. But my whole setup's mobile, and I just roll it into the corner because the other side of the office is an office. The other side of this room is an office. So
Oh,
it's
wow.
all in the way you manipulate it with lighting and your lens, and we can
Yeah.
talk about that. I can help you out if you ever go
If
down
I ever
that
need
path.
it,
If you ever need
definitely gonna
it,
need it.
let me
I'm
know.
gonna definitely need it.
I'll get you taken care of. Let's check the chat really quick. We got some people chiming in. Blue Mamba.
Scevoli is a
He
nice
says
person.
he's a nice person for
Oh,
sure.
Blue Mama, I love you, Blue Mama.
Carter. What's the
I love
dude?
Carter.
I got to hang out with Carter out in Orlando for a few days, and that was dope. We're boys now.
Oh,
We be
that's
texting on the reg. Yeah, absolutely, Chris. Yeah, good thing
yeah,
we surround ourselves with people who love Star Wars. And that's, at the end of the day, that's what matters, right? Like
yeah.
all the people that I have on my show, we're all friends and we all love Star Wars and we keep it in this community. But we need to continue to grow the community, you know?
That's gonna be hard,
Positivity. It's going to be
but
hard, but
we got it.
yep. Pop. He says, the problem people associate change, sometimes new to Star Wars, with a negativity or something that's going to be bad. You're
Yeah.
100%.
I think the biggest thing is like change. You know, change is a big thing in the world in Star Wars. Like Star Wars is not going
Yep.
to stay the same forever. Like it's not going to be what
No.
1999, you
Right.
know, or 19 whatever New Hope came out. It's not going to be like that no more. You know, it's going to be upgraded.
Right.
It's going to be with volume. It's going to be with animation. It's going to be with new tech.
Yep.
But change is hard for people, and I get that because change is hard for us humans too, you know, in life. So I get it. We get it.
Yeah. No, 100%. Pop says, I'm in the corner of my kids' room. I record when they're at their mom's house. So,
I
point proven.
point taken. Point taken.
Jeez. My gosh. All right. So here's a little bit of a combo question for you.
Okay.
Because we're creating, right? We have the podcast, you have your podcast, you have your reviews, you've got your clothing and merch, you've got all these things. What do you do, or where do you draw inspiration from when you're hitting like a creative block?
I think this is gonna sound funny, but it's so weird how it comes up. So I do music too. I go for voice lessons,
Oh,
singer,
nice.
songwriter. I write the songs and everything.
I used to make music too.
Oh, Johnny, I think we gotta go somewhere. We gotta do it. Let's do it.
Yeah,
Do a cantina band. Start
that's
a
it.
cantina.
The jazz group.
This group. But like it's weird to say it, but when I go outside, I go for walks. When it gets hot, cool, not hotter out, but like a little chilly. Like I could say 70 degrees, or I still go out on the hot days too. Don't get me wrong.
Yeah.
I get my inspiration from just putting my headphones in and listening to music. It could be like anybody. I listen to like Chris Brown, Trey Kelly, James Arthur, all those artists.
Yeah.
And I just walk. And I think I pull inspiration from that. Like I could pull inspiration right now talking to you. Like I could take that Wookie whisper and make it a pin design, or make it into like something that doesn't represent your brand, but I can pull from my brand, if that
Right.
makes sense. Like not
For sure.
stealing it, but getting
Right.
the inspiration for it. You
Yeah,
know,
yeah,
like, okay, I like what he did there. Okay, maybe I can make something similar to that, into a pin, into a shirt. So I think I get my inspiration from everybody, like Star Wars creators. I get,
yeah.
um, because as you make pins, like as you do the pin design, shout out to Devin who makes my pin designs. I give him the idea, he makes it happen. Shout out to him, he's amazing. Um,
Dope.
I give him the thing and I transform it. Like it's weird because it's like it's all in my head. Like you can't really you could picture it in your head, but on paper it's going to be different. It's
Right.
not going to be an exact hit or miss.
Never
Um,
is.
yeah, so I think that's where I put my inspiration from. I put my music on, I go, and like I write things down. Like I have a whole notes list on my phone that says, "Oh, shirts, pin designs, and
Smart.
stuff like that." So, but sometimes it's not even in my notes. I just pull from it. I just
Yeah.
on top of my head, it's like, okay, release. Release. I feel like I would like that pin, but will people like it? And the other thing too is you got to think of the people.
Right. Right.
You got to think, okay, will this sell? A lot of my items don't really sell because it's not a big, huge heart hitter. It's not a big, and my
Right.
prices are not that extreme. Like some people's prices are $30 for pins, not that bad. $25 for a shirt. It's not that bad.
Right.
But do people like it? Some people do, some people don't. So you have to get those people and the other people to come together and be like, oh, I like
Mm-hmm.
this, let's buy it. You know.
Right.
But that's the biggest thing, really, to being like a business kind of stuff. What do people like, and what are people not gonna like?
No, for sure. Yeah. Good point. Good point. All right. I like that. Yeah. I would say for me, roadblock, when I'm having a roadblock or a mental block, I do actually go for walks. I think we talked about that on your podcast, possibly.
A little, a little.
Yeah. I do go for walks. And I'm also a very big music person, like you say. So sometimes I'll just lay in bed. I'll throw these exact headphones on right here, and I'll just put on some like classical music that has no words and stuff like that, and it allows my brain to kind of wander. And
Okay.
that's how I get like my creative juices going. I don't know, something about just music soothes my soul and just
Yeah,
allows me
I get
to.
dancing too. You should see me. I'll be like Chris Brown dancing. I'll be like, oh, killing it. You know.
Tony, welcome to the chat. Just got out of work. He said, I'm listening to Daddy Yankee. Bro, he retired. We can't listen to him no more, bro.
He was good, Daddy Yankee, though. He was good.
So now it's Bad Bunny, you know?
Yeah, Bunny's really good too. I don't know what they're saying, but I'll jam to Osuna and Karol
Yeah.
G. Like, I'm all about it.
Dang, I see
Romeo
you.
Santos, I'm about it.
You Hispanic, bro? What happened?
What happened overnight?
Yeah, I'm telling you. Yeah. You got all the bangers. That's funny.
I got him. You gotta listen to the good people too.
So funny. So, how long have you been creating now? Like YouTube and stuff like that, like dedicated to like being a Star
Probably
Wars
5
creator.
years. Probably
It's a
5
long
years.
time.
Probably maybe less. Probably like 3, 4. I'll say 4. 2
Okay.
years with my store though. 2 years with my store, and then 4 years content creating. I think,
Wow.
or maybe 3 or 2 years. I'm not too sure. It says it in my YouTube thing when it got published. So I think it was 2022.
Okay, so 2022,
Not
so
too
2
sure.
years ago.
Yeah, 2.5 probably, going on 3.
I can check that.
Yeah,
Or if
check
you
that.
want
Yeah,
to.
I don't know when. I don't know if it was 2021. I totally forget.
I'll tell you right now. Let's see. Here. No, 2020, dude.
Oh, 2020. So 5 years. I'm correct.
4
But I
years.
haven't really been with those 5 years. Haven't been consistent enough. I
Gotcha.
think that was my problem because I could have so many more. I feel like followers if I was the way I was hitting now.
Yeah.
But it is what it is. Stuff happens in the world and life. And
Yeah.
money problems and stuff like that. So I couldn't be the best content creator, but I can be one now. And I'm learning. Like Tony
Yeah.
helped me out with like Obras. Like he posts reels now and stuff like that. Like Tony was a big help for me, and I appreciate him so much.
Yeah.
Tony the Tiger. I had his cereal earlier today. Was really good. But yeah, like I learned from you. I learned from all content creators. Star Wars Theory, Star Wars
Yeah.
Sith, Pop Collector. What can I do better, you know. I don't want to top you guys, but what can I do similar to them, not to copy them? You know what I mean?
Right. No,
I'm like,
100%. I hate my YouTube thing where it says like the date published, because mine was actually an old YouTube channel that I just had created to like watch YouTube.
oh, okay.
And then I made a YouTube channel, you know, hundreds of years later. So mine says it's been published since 2012.
Wow.
But I posted my first video 1 year and 6 months ago. so, so go figure on that one.
That was a high school moment of you.
Yeah. So, no big deal. So since you've been creating, these past few years, what's the coolest thing that has happened to you since you started making videos?
I think the fan love. You
Yeah.
know, I really like there's one time like I was in Rhode Island.
Okay.
And we met Ashley, Matt. It was the best time of my life. I love those two so much. So we were sitting before we left. It was me and a couple friends at the time there. And this guy came up and he brought his phone and he was like, "Is this you?" Like pointing to my YouTube page. And
Yeah.
I'm like, "Yeah, that's me." And I was so shocked. I didn't know what like this kid wanted. Like I thought he just was like, "Oh, can I sit there, or is there an extra seat or something like that?" So I'm thinking like,
Right.
okay, you're not thinking anything of it. But he came up to me, he took a picture with me and everything. Like it was
That's
like
dope.
I feel like that was like the best moment to this day of my life. Like that was such a sweet moment. Like they were like he was like, "Oh, I love your channel. I watch all your YouTubes. I have your pins." And it's like, wow.
That's cool.
Thank you.
That's
Like
cool.
it made me tear. Like it makes me tear now. But like it's so loving that people, like I'm not the average Star Wars YouTuber. Like if you watch my stuff, my unboxings, my editor makes me look like a fool. Like he makes me look like a dumbass, and I love it because it's so unique and you don't get that around here. You don't get that in Star Wars content. Like a lot of it is like, okay, hi, it's me, we're talking, but like mine, if I drop something, he goes dun 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 dun, like stuff like that, to make people sit there and watch the whole video. And like shout out to Jeff, he kills it with my videos, and I think that was the best moment in my YouTube career. And then plus like I have What If series on my channel that's doing great. So people loving the what ifs. So I love when people love something, or some people say, "Oh, well, Chris, you can do this better." And some people hate on it. Some people always hate on what ifs, but it is what it is.
Internet.
I read the comment and I take that into consideration, what they say.
For sure.
Okay, but am I fully going to take it into consideration? Absolutely not, because it's already out. I wrote this already. It's been months down the line that it's been recorded. It just has to be edited and put together.
Right. Not 100%. Real quick, Diamond Figs with the super chat. My man, he's piggybacking off of Tony's comment. Punta la gasolina. That's the Daddy Yankee old jam. That's funny. Thank you for the super chat, brother. I appreciate you big time. So we're going to move into the final section of the podcast. Dun, dun, dun. So I've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 categories.
Okay.
Each category has a question that I have specifically chosen.
Oh.
And then we're going to run down the list, and you are going to pick and then answer in whatever order you want. So,
okay.
These are the categories: characters, creatures, technology, the galaxy, the force. So pick
I have to answer all of them.
One of each. But which one do you want to do first?
Let's do characters.
Characters. All right. So, first question is, who do you think is the bravest character in Star Wars?
I can't be biased. The bravest character in Star Wars. That's a good question. The bravest character in Star Wars. I really have to say, like, I think I'm gonna go with Ahsoka. Like, I think that's the only one on top of my head. Like, she is the bravest character to me. She's a brave female character in Star Wars.
Yeah.
she's been through a lot. Not others. She's been through the Republic,
Yeah.
and then leading on to the fall of the Empire, and now the new Empire is rising, the First Order. Like, you are brave to go up against Thrawn. You are brave to go up against Darth Vader. You train with Anakin Skywalker. You're brave for doing that. The
Yeah,
chosen one.
for
You've trained
sure.
with so many Jedi's. I think she is the bravest because of all those things. Like, you're the Mortis God. You're the girl. Like, in reality, if you really want to put it like that, like I put it like that, I feel like she is the Mortis God daughter.
Yeah.
Because the daughter went into Ahsoka, it's for her to come back to life. So I think she's brave for just doing all those missions
Yeah.
and being a role model to people. Like, not a lot of people can sit here and say like Darth Vader's their role model, right?
Right.
Like, that's just their favorite character. But you put Ahsoka and they go, okay, she is my role model. Like, she is mine. Like, she's helped me through so much tough times in my life. So I
That's
have to say
good.
Ahsoka.
That's good. I would say I think I'm gonna go with Obi-Wan. I mean, he's my favorite
Obi-Wan's a
character,
good
so
one
it's
too.
a little biased, but I mean, let's just go to Revenge of the Sith. He was willing and did what he had to do
Yeah.
to one of the people that he loved the most. And then take his children or one of his children to a remote, planet, Tatooine, to basically watch over him, live in a life of solitude, to watch over this kid to make sure he was protected for like the greater good of the galaxy. And then you move into the OT, the original trilogy, and he basically sacrifices himself so that for Luke, when he's in the fight with Vader. So,
Yeah.
yeah, I mean, there's so many other characters in Star Wars, but we'll be here for 9 years in a day. Um, we got Star Wars Sith with another super chat, man. They've got a Daddy Yankee battle going on in the
Oh.
chat, and I absolutely love it. I appreciate the super chat, man. Thank you. All right. Creatures, technology, the galaxy, or the force?
Let's go creatures.
Creatures. Would you rather ride a Rancor or a Bantha?
I think a Rancor.
Yeah.
Rancor, because I feel like it's like you can't control it, of course. That's a wild animal. But to be like on top of a Rancor is like would be badass. A Bantha,
Yeah.
like I feel like I would get like so matted in there. I would get lost in that fur. Like, I would just be like a deep hole.
Yeah.
At least like with the Rancor, I'll get crushed to death, or it will just pull me off like King Kong and just kill me. But
Right.
I would rather like do a Rancor.
I choose Rancor as well. Boba Fett, the way he rode on that thing. Fire.
Yeah.
All right. Technology, the galaxy, or the force?
Let's do technology.
All right. If you could bring one kind of technology from Star Wars to Earth, which one would it be? This one's easy for me.
I feel like what Tech had on his watch.
Okay.
I don't know what that's called, but that's what I would want, because he would know everything. Like, you could know from, like, he generates from somewhere. He
Right.
generates from the technology world in Star Wars. I would love that, to know, like, okay, like, oh, my time is up, or like, what's going on in the world. Like, we need to know, and he needs to know that the Jedi were all got turned on, and I like that of Tech. I really like the technology that Tech has.
Interesting. That's not where I thought you were going to go.
Really?
So I would choose, no spoiler alert, lightsabers.
Oh, yeah. I thought that's not really. Oh, that's technology. That is.
I mean, yeah, we don't have it, right?
When we do, we have fake ones. Like, we don't really like. Right? No. All right. I get over it. I get over it.
Pop, 2003. Oh my god, that was that song. What song was that again?
I don't know that one. That's an old one. I was 4 years old at that time.
Damn. Pop's a little bit older than us. Oh, that's right. I don't know if I could play that on here without getting copyright. I'm not gonna play it. Yeah, probably get copyright. But that joint was fire. We're getting all the buzz. First we started off with like Popeye's chicken and stuff,
I know. Then
you
we just
know,
go with
and
gasoline all
now
day.
we're right into Daddy Yankee jams. So, all right, the Galaxy of the Force.
I'm gonna say the Force. No, let's leave the Force to last. Do Galaxy.
Okay, Galaxy. If you opened a store in the Star Wars galaxy, what would you sell?
I would open like a cantina. You
Hey, I like
know,
that.
I think
Yeah.
I would open like a jazz kind of bar. And people love music. I
Yes.
feel like, yeah, I feel like if you do it in Coruscant,
We right here,
you're
dude.
golden. You're making money. Even
Yeah.
for like the clones. At that time the clones have their own cantina too.
Some
I feel
spiked
like,
blue milk on tap.
yeah, and then Trumu is coming out with milk, so blue milk for May the 4th. So go buy that at the end of April. But I'm gonna try blue milk. I want to see what it's all about. I never had blue milk, so
Oh, you've never had it?
no, I thought it was disgusting at the time.
Oh, so you have had it.
No, I just thought about it. Like
Oh,
I went to the parks and they said like green or blue milk, and I'm like, nah, like I don't want to taste that. Like I don't really like. I'm not a big milk drinker anyway, so I'm like,
it's not milk at all.
oh, it's
So
not.
no, it's not milk at all. It's almost like what's the best way to explain it? A less icy kind of like slushy thing
Oh,
ish.
okay.
And like it's kind of floury.
Oh,
Like you ever had tea and it has like a rose taste or like something like
yes,
that? It's
yes.
like that.
That's
It's like
disgusting.
that.
Why would anybody
It's
want
not the
that?
best. It's not my favorite. So
Like, now I gotta try, but I don't think Trumu is gonna come with. It's gonna be just blue milk.
True Moo.
Is that the is that the right word?
True Moo is a brand of milk, yeah.
But they're coming out with it. I don't know if you saw it.
Is it True Moo that's doing it?
Yeah,
Oh, I didn't know.
that's why I
I
kept
didn't know
saying
who was making it.
True.
That's funny. That's funny. Yeah, I'm gonna buy it if I find it, but I just don't know where do you find it? Because I don't think
Yeah,
it's
like
out yet.
where and what is it gonna taste like? Is it just gonna be blue like tie dye, like dye in it? Like,
I don't know. I'm gonna Google it right now. Blue
yeah,
milk.
you're gonna look. Yeah, it's gonna come up.
When does it release? Cause I seen it. I saw it coming. Like they were gonna release it, but I don't
I
know
think the end of
when.
April. I think the end of April.
April. Let's see. This probably will be available April 17th. But
Oh,
be aware that it might not show up on your store shelves right away. True
okay.
Moo.
True.
Yeah, True Moo. All right. Oh, cool. Well, I'll be picking that up. Oh, Pop, you're not that much older. You're only 10 years older than me.
We love
But
pop.
10
We
years
love
does
you,
make a
Ricky.
difference, though, in terms of like music and stuff. So
Yes, he does.
it does make a difference in terms of like the generations of music. So, all right. Last question.
one.
The Force.
Oh,
Which Jedi do you think is the best example of who a Jedi Knight should be?
Qui-Gon Jinn.
Dude, yes.
I really think
Yes.
with Qui-Gon, like Qui-Gon is like, to me, like he should be like mentioned in almost every Star Wars Skywalker realm movie show.
Yeah.
He's not mentioned at all. Like we just like, there you go, Blue Mama. You're ready for that blue milk. You
Yeah, he
are.
is.
But with Qui-Gon, I would always say Qui-Gon before Ahsoka because Qui-Gon was way before Ahsoka,
For sure.
and I wish they did meet because they are similar. They are very
Yeah.
similar in between the Force. Like Qui-Gon never was with the Jedi Council. He was never with the Jedi Temple. He would
Right.
just go out and explore through the Force. Like,
Yeah.
he would be that Force guide for all the Jedi. And I think that's why the Jedi fell at the end, because they weren't in tune with the Force. They were listening to politics. And Qui-Gon
Right.
was never about that. And I think when Ahsoka left the Order in season 5 of the Clone Wars, that's when she lost all hope.
Right.
And she even says in season 7, like, oh, because the Chancellor needs you, not because the people need you. You should be helping Mandalore out. You're going to help the Chancellor. He's not that important. You know what I
Right.
mean? But yeah, I think Qui-Gon Jinn is the best example of what the Force should be and what a Jedi should be. Even Keenan Jarrus too. Um, he's an example of what Jedi should be. He's a great Jedi. And
Yeah.
I think those three are the best examples. Yoda, I can never say Family Feud. But I can never say like Yoda is the best example. Mace Windu. Like I've read Mace Windu's books. He's a tremendous Jedi, don't get me wrong. And he's misunderstood if you read the books. He's really like you could see
Mm-hmm.
how misunderstood he is. Um, and with Yoda, if people say Yoda, I'll accept that answer, but it's like he let the Jedi fall. He
Right.
knew something was coming. Qui-Gon told him already, there's something coming. You can't stop it. But you can warn people.
Yeah.
And then with the clones with the chips in their head, like it's just like really? Like really? You
Yeah.
know? But Qui-Gon to me is like what a Jedi should really be. And I wish he was still alive. I wish we got more of that story. I know we got some story in Tales of the Jedi, but I really want a focused main animation show of him because I think the only way Liam Neeson will come back because he's too old, he says, is to come back in animation because then he can just voice him.
Yeah. Yeah. That'd be cool. He's
Yeah,
already
I think
old, so he can't be out here doing the
he's
things.
doing Takens. He did like 24 Takens.
Right.
But he can't do no more Star Wars because that's too old. He's too old for that.
100%. Yeah, I also say Qui-Gon. I think he's the perfect balance
Yeah.
between the two, and I also feel that if he didn't pass away and he was the one who was to train Anakin would have never fell.
Yeah, and I think like if they do have a what if show, that would be a big one to see. What would Qui-Gon be like?
Yeah.
Because he's old. He's older than, and even I say Ahsoka. If Ahsoka was at the temple when Execute Order 66 was there, I think she would find a way to change Anakin back. As we can see in Ahsoka, we get that Vader and Ahsoka fight, that people have been dreaming of. And that question is not answered, but it's somewhat answered in somewhat. Like he changed him back, and like I love that. I love that. I knew she could, but it was only through the World Between Worlds. Of course, it wasn't in like real life.
Right.
But like I think if she was at the temple, she would change Anakin back because I think because that was his Padawan. We have to realize that like that was his like child, like
Right. 100%.
like his sister, but I think you're right on the money. Qui-Gon I think would have changed Anakin, never turned to Darth Vader because he was on the Sidious. Qui-Gon was on the Sidious anyway. He was right there, but Maul killed him. Don't cry, John. It's okay.
Yeah, I'm not gonna get into it. So, all right, guys. So, thank you for hanging out with me and Chris on another episode of Wookie Whispers. It has been a blast. This is already episode 9, so we're already over 2 months into Wookie Whispers, which is mind blowing to me. So, thank you all who have been listening and hanging out with me live and hanging out. Much appreciated. The love is real. Chris, let the listeners know where they can find you and how they can follow you if they already aren't doing so.
Yes, I don't know what you're doing with your life if you're not following me. I don't get that. Like, I'm on the Wookie Whispers for a reason, people. You know what I mean? Like, come on.
Same.
But you can follow me on every social media: Instagram, Chris Scevoli _Tano. It's verified, so that's the one. You can follow my store page. I have a lot of drops coming. I have a nice Bad Batch pin coming soon.
Nice.
UV pin that looks real life, so it's gonna be good. You can follow me on X Scevoli Tano, just to see my my face probably in there. I forget what the picture I have. And then YouTube, the Scevoli Tano Show. I do unboxings, reactions, breakdowns, sexiness, awesomeness, the whole spiel. It's amazing. But yeah, I think that's and TikTok, of course, Chris, I think _Scevoli Tano. But yeah, just go check my awesome workout. If you like it, you like it. If you don't, you don't. I don't know what to tell you. I'll do better. I'll do better for you guys. Don't worry. But yeah, that's all you can
cool.
find me.
And guys, if you are just tuning in for the first time, thank you for joining Wookie Whispers live podcast. You can find me across all platforms at I am Gianni V, whether that's Instagram, TikTok, YouTube, you name it. I am Gianni V across all platforms. Thank you for tuning in. We appreciate you. We love you. And may the force be with you.
One.